Well, hello, I'm back for just a short video. I was thinking about this. I was talking to my cousin about this actually yesterday. We were talking about, excuse me, differences in relationships and sometimes how to figure out if he or she is the one. And the first thought that I had is, sometimes you're in a state of confusion and you're like, I don't know, I think it could be the one, I'm not sure. He does this or he does that. I don't know if I like it, but I'm not sure. So, first things first, this is what I always say. If you're going back and forth, if you're not sure, if you're feeling conflicted, and if you're asking yourself if that person is the one, 9 times out of 10, they're not the one. If you think about it, right? Every time something is the one, every time it's the thing that, oh my God, the end all be all, you never have to really think about it. You just know. When you go into a store, if you see an outfit, a coat, a dress, a suit, some shoes, whatever, when you see it, that's it. That's one. You're looking at a car that you love. When you go into the dealership, there's 35 cars, and then you see the one. You're like, that's the one I want. I don't care. Nothing else compared. I don't want to hear about anything else. That's it. Now you got to take some time to get to know it, unpack it, and all of that. But internally, you know whether they're the one or not, so to speak. So now, to take it a little deeper, once you maybe determine, like, you believe that person is the one, you got that instant yes, like the scanner, whoop, yes, okay, cool. Now, here are the things that I think are important. So number one, I have a list of things that I call my must-haves, and I liken it to oxygen. So these are the things that I need, like oxygen. And just like I wouldn't compromise on my air that I need to breathe, I'm not going to compromise on these things that I need, like oxygen. It could be 3 things or 5 things, but the absolute things that you absolutely know you have to have if you're going to live in a relationship. So if it is, affection or communication or whatever your thing is, whatever you need to have, you need to have it on your list. You're going to take a sheet of paper, you're going to divide it down the middle. You're going to write down your top 3, 5, 7 things that you absolutely have to have, like oxygen. And then for the person that you're dating, you're going to say, do they have these things? Any one of those is a no, that person is a no, period, the end. It ain't nothing to configure, consider, or reconsider. They either have it or they don't. And I think a lot of times we fall into situations because we're hoping it's going to get better. We're hoping they're going to change. And let me give a caveat. If those are things that naturally they could work on and they're willing to do so, then okay, maybe you won't fire them. But people are creatures of habit. They are who they are. And I personally, don't try to, fit round pegs and square holes. Like, I just don't have time to shave the edges off. We either fit together or we don't fit together. I'm not going to give you the rules on how to date me. I just want you to be yourself. I'll be myself. And if we fit, we fit. And if we don't, I'll still like you from afar. Okay. But I'm not going to force anything. And I think a lot of times in relationships, we know something isn't working or we know something isn't going to work, but we're hoping for a brighter day. And that's where we get messed up. And then you're in a relationship for like years, unhappily. And a lot of times that has to do with the hope factor. You're hoping that they're going to change in some way, swing over to your way of thinking, but you already knew from the beginning that that wasn't the case. And really, is it fair of you to hope and or want someone to change from the way that they are? Not really, because you don't want to change the way you are either. So, I like to look at it from my perspective and then the perspective of the person that I'm actually dating. So what I found works the best is to have my list, check it against the things that I absolutely need, and then I can, make a determination if I want to move forward from there. There's really nothing to reconsider once you've determined that somebody doesn't have something that is on your must-have list. What else is there to think about? You don't, take yourself in a room that has absolutely no air and say, well, I'm going to hope that some oxygen gets piped in so I can continue to breathe. No, you will only go in there if you, in fact, know that you can breathe when you go into that room. So why would you enter into a relationship with someone that is not exhibiting something that you absolutely need and they're not willing to adjust? Now, having said that, okay, next thing, sometimes people aren't maybe exactly where you would like for them to be in their life. Maybe, they're a little rough around the edges, or maybe they're not as well versed in saving money, spending money, shopping, and different things like that. If you come together, I think it's okay to recognize that, that person has strengths and you have strengths. So instead of letting it frustrate you, why don't you just say, hey, listen, that's an area where I have a strength. How about if I take care of this area, and you take care of that area? You're not talking bad about them. You're not like, oh my God, you're the worst money manager ever. You're cheap, you're horrible. You're not saying that. Okay. You might be thinking it, but you're not saying it, right? You want to be a help. Okay. And we're a unit, we're a team, we're trying to win together. And so the best way to do that is to delegate the task to those who have the strengths, recognizing that no one is perfect, though we think we are. No one is perfect. No one is going to be perfect, but there's a person that's perfect for you. So you want to make sure that you're getting the person that's perfect for you, and you want to make sure that you don't have unrealistic expectations of the person, and that person doesn't have unrealistic expectations of you. And all of those things come out with communication. And communication isn't just talking per se. Communication is sharing information in a way in which the other person receives it and responds accordingly. And, and it's reciprocated. So I always like to liken it to affection. Let's say I'm affectionate. So I communicate my love through affection, right? So I might talk to you and I'll rub your back or something like that, right? But what if the person that I'm doing this with hates to be touched and he cringes internally? Like, he doesn't cringe when I do it, but internally he cringes. I think I'm communicating love, but what he's receiving is irritation. Why? Because he never told me that he doesn't like to be touched on his back. That's not the way that he likes. That's not the way he receives affection. Maybe he receives affection by, deeds, like if I, cook his favorite dish or something like that. I don't know. So, but all that comes with communication, okay? Asking the right questions and getting the right answers. So I think we could save ourselves a lot of trouble, a lot of trying to figure out, is he the one, is she the one? We can figure that out if we actually took the time to not worry about necessarily getting our needs met, but just really just getting to know the person, unpacking the person, unpacking the personality, letting it settle and seeing if we, actually fit together. And then, once we have that part, then, it's the whole building together, building a life together, but that's all a process. But I think, in the beginning, well, I'll tell you my process for dating. Y'all might find it corny, but this is what I do. It makes life easier for me. So when I meet someone, I will talk to them on the phone for a couple of weeks, different times of the day and night, whatever. The reason why I do that is because I get to find out a lot of the things that I want to know without having the lust factor be a part of it. Because, you look at them, they smell good, they look good. You're at dinner, you're in a dark place, soft music playing, they're sweet and romantic and all that. And so then the brain gets a little frazzled and you can't really focus on the facts. I want to focus on the facts first. And then if we have a connection, we can move on. So when I talk to them on the phone, I can ask them any question under the sun. I can see how they are in the morning. I can see how they are when they come home from work. I can see how they talk about their, family, their mother, their relationships, how they react when they're, sleepy, angry, the focus of their conversation, because we can say one thing, but then over time you'll be able to see if all those things line up. Like there's just this whole like I'm not doing a questionnaire like, okay, do you smoke? Do you not like that? It's like conversation, but in the conversation you'll uncover a lot of information, and you can find out a lot about a person in a few weeks on the phone, and red flags will pop up. And so my thing is, if a red flag pops up and it's something that I know I can't tolerate, there's no need for me to go out on a date with you because I already know it's not going to work. So at that point, I'll just keep it moving. Like, hey, we can chit chat on the phone or whatever. If I see you, I can say hello. But, in terms of a relationship, it's just not going to work. So if you focus on the facts first, right? Then move to the next level, like, okay, all right, we got something here. I think this could potentially work. Then you go on your list, right? Do these things match up? Okay, yes, he has everything on my, need like oxygen list, and we're still gelling and enjoying each other. We have common goals. I'm working on mine. He's working on his. We build each other up. Everybody's happy. Okay, yes, he has some things that get on my nerves. Yes, I have some things that get on his nerves. That's part of life. That's going to happen. You just have to decide, is it a deal breaker? If it's not a deal breaker, you have to figure out a workaround. Okay. You have to recognize that, that's going to happen. People going to get on your nerves, and you're going to get on somebody else's nerves. Now, men, we know this is not fair. Okay. I'm going to admit this for the women. Okay. We're not always fair. We pretty much, how can I say it, are going to get our way most of the time, or we want to have our way most of the time, or you let us have it, or whatever, or we let you think. Well, anyway, that's just the way of the world. I don't think that's going to change. We're just like spoiled like that. I don't know. I don't even know where that came from, but pretty much you just got to let the woman win if you want to be happy in your relationship. Like that's just the long and the short of it. It's not right. It's not fair. But if I'm being honest, that's pretty much the truth. So, I don't know. We'll come back to that another time. But essentially, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I think that generally speaking, you kind of know, you don't have to like fight yourself on a tug of war on it. Is it her? Is it him? Is it her? Is it him? Is it her? Is it him? You pretty much already know if you go within. Here's the thing. Do you have a peace about it? Because if you have a peace about it, there is no question. So at the point you're questioning, you don't have peace. And if you don't have peace, then it's not the right move. And that's not only in relationships. That's pretty much, everything. Not all the time can you make a clean slate. Sometimes it is still questionable, but for the most part, you can get to a point of peace. And once you arrive at the point of peace, then okay, this is the right decision. I can actually move on this. So let peace be your umpire, okay, in your situations as you move forward. And in this case, in your relationships. There was another thing that I was going to say about that, but I forgot what it was. I'm a woman of a certain age, so, the memory doesn't always roll with me when I want it to. But I don't know. I can't remember. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I would love it. Friends. And if you're in a relationship and you would like to have a Skype chat with me, I would be happy to do so. You can just inbox me or go to winwithangel.com and let's schedule something. I am the guru of entrepreneurship, relationships, and wealth building. So if you want to talk to me, I would love to talk to you. My mission for this year, I think I said it on my previous video, and my mission for this year is to create 1,000 change makers, or to inspire 1,000 people to make powerful changes in 2018. 2018 is almost over, so I need you to be one of my 1,000. So connect with me, winwithangel.com, or you can just inbox me. That would be super duper awesome. And you have a wonderful day.